What's up guys, today I want to talk about how virtual assistants save me so much time in my Amazon FBA business and get into the nitty gritty of where you find them, what tasks they can do, when is the right time, what's the whole process. That way you guys know the huge benefits of virtual assistants and will be able to go and find one for yourself after this video. Before we get started, I just want to welcome in anybody new to the channel. My name is Camron James. I've been selling on Amazon for 3 years now. First year did $1.3 million in sales, which was a crazy ride. So if you want to keep up to date on all the new Amazon strategies and follow my journey step by step, make sure you hit that little subscribe button down below. I promise you will not regret a thing. Otherwise, guys, let's just get right into it. So to make sure everybody's up to speed, I just want to explain what a virtual assistant is. So essentially, all a virtual assistant is an online secretary. So imagine you having a big office. You just have a secretary there that runs tasks for you, run errands for you, takes care of the minute tasks that just would clog up your day otherwise when running a medium-sized business. So the cool thing about today is that you don't need to go and hire an employee and pay him benefits and all this good stuff to run these errands and tasks for you and do these things that are kind of brainless work. You can go online. We have this thing called the internet, which is pretty cool nowadays. It's grown quite a bit. It's just, there's so many tasks you can get done for yourself. And what you can do is you can hire these people online to do these tasks for you as a third-party contractor, so you don't have to pay them, employment tax on them, payroll fees, and health insurance, all these things that add up if you actually had an employee. So what this does is it makes it possible for a small business or a business of one to actually have employees that you can afford, that don't break the bank or anything like that, to help you scale and actually focus on the tasks that matter to grow your business. So I actually owe most of my success and most of my growth to my VAs in all my businesses, just because I'm just one man in most of these businesses and I don't have enough time to take care of all the small tasks like customer service and making sure I'm posting on time, or making sure that everything goes through. I have enough inventory for this product or that brand. So as a one-man wrecking crew, this is the only way it was possible for me to scale in all my businesses, whether it's personal branding or FBA or branding or Shopify or whatever it may be. So I think if you ever want to scale in your Amazon FBA business, you're going to need a virtual assistant at some time. So the first question you might have for me is, Cameron, when do I get a VA? Like, when is the right time? At what point in my Amazon business? And for this one, it's a little tricky because it depends on the person. But I suggest when your day starts getting clogged up by these small brainless tasks. So every single day in the morning, I take my planner out, I write out my to-do list for the day. That way I'm being efficient with my time, I'm hitting the goals, I keep pushing forward. First of all, I suggest that everyone does this, just because it's so hard to keep on track if you're not, just because we have so many distractions in this world. But when that list starts to be clogged up by management tasks, by brainless work, by things that anyone can do that you really don't need to be doing, then it might be time to get a VA. So the way I like to look at it is, when I'm looking at these tasks, if they're brainless or not, is, I ask myself, are these growth tasks? Are these tasks that are pushing my business forward? Are these tasks that I personally have to be, here to do? So take my YouTube videos, for example. I personally have to be here to do them. This isn't something I can outsource. I'm sure you wouldn't want to see a VA here instead of me. So do that same thing with your to-do list. So if it's something you have to be there for, it's something that's pushing, growth 2x, 3x, 4x for your business, that's something you should be focusing on and only focusing on, not, spending 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, doing customer service or making cases in Amazon or doing all these things that are just going to clog up your day and not actually be productive and pushing forward. So I think that's the best time to actually get a VA is when you start to see this happen in your own life and your own business. You can't really focus on the things you need to focus on to grow your business and make more money and do the things you need to do. One more thing I like to add in here is to make sure you have the cash flow to hire VAs as well. So don't go hiring 4 to 5 VAs when you don't have any money coming into the business. That doesn't seem like a good business strategy to have. Make sure you have some capital moving in before you start outsourcing and paying for VAs to start taking over tasks for you. That's just kind of a lean startup mentality to make sure that you profit first, right? Instead of trying to scale when all you see is red numbers on your accounting sheet. So next I want to talk about what tasks can VAs do for you. So you might be like, Cameron, I'm not sure if VAs are right for me. What tasks can they do? What should I get rid of and what should I keep for myself? and everything like that. So some of the tasks they do for me, they've done, either they're doing for me currently or have done in the past, is, customer service, which is always for me just because I don't have time to deal with crappy customers on Amazon. They're not all crappy, but you know what I'm saying there. Inventory management. So that's super important to make sure that you have enough inventory that you're not going to run out of stock, and so they can alert you, or keep an Excel sheet, which is my personal favorite way to do it. So I can go in there and check to see, how many do we sell today, how many do we have left, and make sure that I'm ordering when necessary, especially when you have a long lead time, of maybe 2 to 3 months. Making Seller Central cases is also a great one. Most of these people that work for Amazon support are from India or the Philippines anyway, so you're essentially just having them talk to one another to get your issue figured out and solved, just because those can be really time consuming, just because it takes a lot of back and forth. It could take 3 to 4 days to get back to, and it's just something you don't shouldn't be having to weigh on your mind and taking up brain space there. So that's a great one right there. Some advanced ones they can take care of, PPC management. So this could go as far as them adding keywords, them adjusting bids. I usually don't go that far. It's more of them tracking and updating the data for me and putting it in an Excel sheet so I can see it easier and understand it better. That way I know what adjustments to make myself. Personally, I should probably step away from PPC, but it's something that I just love doing and kind of a nerd about. So you can have them do that in several degrees. You can have them talking to suppliers. I don't suggest this at first. You should get really good with dealing with suppliers, talking to them, picking the right ones before you outsource this. So it's something I probably will say again later, but you should become an expert in all these fields before you outsource it. That way you can actually teach someone how to do this, which I'll show you the best way to teach someone how to learn your tasks in the best way possible. But you can't really do that unless you're an expert at it first. So talking to suppliers, you can have them do that for you. But again, make sure that you get this down pat, or maybe it's just ongoing conversation. So maybe it's a supplier you've already vetted personally, and it's just like routine conversation. That way, if there's anything important that comes through, they can get it back and relay it back to you. Next is product research. So this one's a little tough, but there are ways to do this. So product research, you can have them go through certain products with certain criteria, in your methods, your ways, and then get them back. This is the way I like to do it. Get back a big long list so I can personally go through this list. Essentially, instead of spending 4 to 6 hours doing this and making this list yourself, they're making the list for you, and then you're just vetting this list by tracking them or just looking through to see if there are any great ideas on this list. So it just makes it faster for you and more streamlined. Then on top of this, I also like to have them do some I-99 tracking for me, so just sales tracking on those products that I really, really like. Just because this is a very time-consuming process, especially if you have a ton of products that you're tracking at one time. So this is a great task for them. And this can go on and on and on. So it's pretty much anything, like I said, on your to-do list that's clogging up your time, that's brainless work that you can outsource. So make sure you're going back to this list often to kind of figure out what you can automate, what you can outsource. I actually do this every couple weeks to every couple months. Just when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I sit down, I make a list of every task that I do in a week. And I go through as like, what tasks do I not need to be there for? Which task should I only be focusing on? Then the rest of the tasks go to VAs, and I outsource them. That way I clear up my schedule in the week, and I can always start working on things that are going to grow my business. Before I show you where to get VAs and how to hire them and what I do to find my VAs, is I want to talk about how to train them, right? So you have to know how to train these people properly, or else you can waste a lot of money doing this. You can waste a lot of time, and you'll always be there, thinking they're never good enough, or they're not doing the task properly. So you have to train these people properly. It's just how it works. There's no shortcuts to this. If you find people that already know what they're doing, it's because they're an expert in their field, and you're going to have to pay them $20, $30, $40 an hour to actually hire them, right? So think of you can't get a VA for Facebook ads because that's a task that people have to get really good at. Same thing for anything else in this world. So VAs that you can pay a reasonable amount, you have to train them well. And the best way to do this is with using SOPs. So what an SOP is a standard operating procedure. So all this is, it's a fancy word for a Word doc with instructions step by step of how to do this task. So like I said before you make an SOP or before you want to train someone, you have to become an expert at this task yourself. So maybe do this task for a month or two before you outsource it, get really good at it. Maybe write down the steps of what you're doing. That way you have the steps to give your VA a little later down the road. But once you get to that point, there's two options you can do. So you just like I said before, you get a Google Doc. You can lay out the step-by-step procedure of how to do the task. That way they can just follow it piece by piece. Or two, this is the way I personally like to do it, is I like to record my screen, with whether it's QuickTime or just some generic video software that you can get for free. I just talk, I narrate the whole thing, and I do this whole task while talking through what I'm actually doing. And then I take this video, I send it to them, and I say, okay, watch this video. Let me know if you have any questions. And then also what I'd like you to do is create your own SOP with this. So I don't tell them it's an SOP really. I just tell them, make a Google Doc that explains every step by step. That way I know, first of all, that you understand it. And two, I can then use this SOP or this Google Doc for any VAs I hire down the line. That way you're good to go forever with this task, right? So say this VA falls off or gets a different job or whatever it may be, you can easily just take this SOP, that same video as well, and just place it to the next VA. So you don't have to worry about training every time you lose a VA. That way it's that task forever is done for you in a super efficient way. I hope you like that last little tip. That's one of my favorite things I figured out to streamline this process. Before, I was just going on Upwork or going wherever I was finding VAs, and I was literally just chatting with them and explaining the instructions. And then 3 weeks later they disappear, and then I wasted all that time for nothing. So if it's helpful, if that's something you're going to use, make sure you tap that little like button to get this to more viewers. That way they learn exactly how to streamline this process and save more time and ultimately make more money, right? Finally, let's talk about how to hire these people, where to hire them. I just gave a little hint earlier. One is Upwork.com. That's my favorite, but there are a few different ones you could use. One of them is freelancer.com. That's a big one you can find VAs. Personally, I have not used it a ton, but I've heard of a lot of people using it. Next one is onlinejobs.ph. So PH standing for Philippines here. So this is where I find most of my virtual assistants. It just happens that way. They seem to be very hardworking. They speak great English most of the time because I believe they learned that in school. So onlinejobs.ph. I haven't used this one, but I heard it's great. This one you just pay per month though, which is kind of tough. I wouldn't suggest this until you're starting to scale a lot and you need a lot of VAs. The one I personally use is Upwork.com. I use this for about everything. I pretty much hire out anything in my business. I don't have employees. And so this is where I find my third-party contractors to take care of tasks for me. And obviously one of those tasks is being a virtual assistant. So I typed in virtual assistant here. And if you're in the US, this is going to pop up for you. So all you do here is toggle this off, obviously, because you're going to have a lot of people from the United States that are $27, $30 an hour. Well, this is not what you want because it's going to be a lot more expensive just because of, just in the USA, the cost of living is just much higher. So if we scroll down here and there's ways to, especially when you make a job, so we go to jobs here, post a job, you can do advanced searches where you just look in the Philippines and you just look under a certain dollar amount. But just for time's sake here, if I scroll down here, you can see right here, Pi M here, it's from the Philippines, $8 an hour, versatile virtual assistant. So one thing here is a lot of people make this mistake of they go and look for Amazon FBA product research, or they go look for Amazon PPC management, or all these tasks in Amazon. Well, that might work sometimes, but most of the time you're going to get people who are going to be more expensive because they've learned this task, or two, especially if they're doing product research, they're just going to have this cookie cutter way of doing it, or maybe they're sharing other ideas with other people who are hiring them for the task. So what I like to do is I like to find a virtual assistant who's fresh, so to speak. So they might have a little experience with Amazon FBA doing like just maybe data entry tasks or anything like that. I'd rather have a virtual assistant that doesn't really know Amazon as to, could run a full account on their own, just because it's going to be more expensive and they're talking to other sellers. So I'd look into, just regular virtual assistants, $10 an hour here, $12 an hour. This is actually a little bit on the high side. So you can actually find virtual assistants between $4 to $8. And this is the range I like to find them at. So right here, Teresa B, $5 an hour. She's earned over 30K plus on Upwork just at $5 an hour with a 94% job success rate, which is awesome. So if you wanted to talk to her, all you have to do is hit Teresa B here, and you can see, she specializes in administrative specialist, customer support, data management specialist. So this would be perfect for getting your customer support taken care of so she can talk to your customers, take care of any messages for you, data management. So this is great for any Excel sheets she might manage, anything like that. You can see a work history here. So what has she done in the past? What is she currently working on? So in progress here and everything like that to kind of see what her background is. The best way to kind of figure it out is to make a job, invite her, and obviously you get a huge list once you make this job. So you can talk to a bunch of them, ask them about their background. This is my favorite part to kind of learn if their English is good enough, especially for customer support. So you just learn by talking to them, and then you hire one, you give them a chance. Again, don't expect this process to be perfect at first. It took me to my third or fourth virtual assistant probably to figure out a good process to work with them, get them the SOP. That really helped me to really get this process going. But it's another task in your business that you're going to have to master and fully understand. So just be patient. It's not that hard, and it will come over time if it seems frustrating at first. I kind of look at it like when you first talk to suppliers in Amazon, the language barrier there. It's another skill set, right? It's just another thing you have to learn in this business. But once you learn it, it's going to save you so much money. It's going to save you so much time, and it's going to automate your business in a way you didn't think possible. I 100% give credit to VAs for what I've been able to do in my own business. So that's how powerful it is, guys. I hope that was helpful. So if you have any questions at all, I'll make sure you hit them in the comments down below. I try to answer every single one of them. One more favor to ask you guys, make sure you pop over to my Instagram. The link's in the description, or it's CamronJames.co. Hit that little follow button, or even DM me if you have any other questions. But I'm trying to grow there, trying to show you behind the scenes of an Amazon FBA business. Otherwise, guys, make sure you check out my other YouTube videos. Spend a lot of time on them, and I think they'll be super helpful. But that is it, and we'll see you later.